Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, and I am your lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I am so grateful to be joining you today on this beautiful Monday evening. We are now in game week. Arizona State football, 21st ranked team in the country, rose 4 spots from last week despite being in a bye week. Playing the Utah Utes, which Kenny Dillingham has done nothing but praise. He's praised Kyle Whittingham, the long-time tenured head coach, the program as a whole, the new offensive overhaul that they have really spent months working on. Quarterback Devin Dampier, who is a local Arizona product, and everything else involved with the Utah program. Their offensive line, their defensive line, Dillingham is just really, really high on them. He's made that clear for over a week now, and he believes that they should be a top 25 team in the nation, and I really wanted to break down some of the big things that I got out of the 35-minute press conference that was held earlier today. And before we get started today, as you all know, Arizona State, Utah is set for kickoff at 7:15 Arizona time on Saturday night. There is a chance that it kicks off late. As Dillingham said, the forecast is potentially calling for thunderstorms in the Salt Lake area, which could push back the start time an hour, even 2 hours. So that's certainly something to watch going into the game. But without further ado, let's get into the small handful of things that I've really caught attention to based off of what he said. So the first thing, obviously injuries. He said Jalen Moss will be back this week. That was a definitive yes as to his status as a player that will be active. So he will come back for the first time since week 1. We all know he left in the third quarter of that game with an undisclosed injury. He was supposed to come back for the Baylor game, but he fell ill in that week, and he was unable to turn around there's not enough time for him to turn around before the TCU game. The bye week lent him enough time, and now he will be back for the first time in over a month. So that will be huge. We all know Jalen Moss is a great football player. He has over 100 career catches to his name at Fresno State. All-conference punt returner last year. He's going to add elements to the Arizona State offense that haven't always been there in recent weeks. We all know Shimon Mateer is a good player in the underneath game, but Jalen Moss has more yak ability, and he is a great complement to the other receivers on the field, particularly Jordan Tyson. So Jalen Moss being back is a great thing. As for the other players that have been injured or got injured in the last week, Xavier Alford is out. Dillingham already said unlikely to play last week, so that's just confirmed. Zach Swanson is not looking good for him to play, and that is a huge blow for the Arizona State defensive line, as Swanson came back last week. He had a pretty good game against TCU. The road to recovery for him was long, as he suffered a broken foot, I believe it was, at the tail end of spring camp in April. He's been working countless hours to get back. I always see him working off the side at practice, and that is a big loss. We all know CJ Fight and Jacob Rich-Kangaika are the two major players at the 3-tech, at the defensive tackle spot, but the depth is, Zach Swanson is really, really good. Brian Ward, the defensive coordinator, has talked about how he was competing to be a starter at one point during spring camp before his injury. So we all know the talent that Zach Swanson has. He can come in and impact a game even on one snap, and that's not great. Blazin and Lano Wong and other defensive tackles have the ability to step up, but you always want as much depth as possible, and Swanson possibly being out is a big blow to the Sun Devils. And then Montana Warren and Cyrus Fiaseu both look like they're going to be out. Dillingham did not have an update for either one of them, so it can be assumed that neither will be back this week. Kendrick Breedlove has done a phenomenal job in the 2 games that Montana Warren has missed up to this point. He forced that fumble in the Baylor game that really jump started the Sun Devil defense making plays in the first quarter of that game. And then last week he had a pass breakup against TCU, I believe. So he's done a great job. The Purdue transfer has been a phenomenal pickup, and Fiaseu is a great player, great run support, great leader, great vocally. But Martell Hughes, game-sealing interception last week, and he made tackles, I believe, on 25% of all snaps that he played. So the depth, once again, is getting tested, but it's coming through in major ways as well. That's really all I have for the injury front. I wanted to move into talking about Utah a little bit. So, like I said, he really doesn't have anything negative to say about Utah. And most coaches don't have negative things to say about the opponent, but with Dillingham that he is 100% sincere with the things he says. And he talked about Devin Dampier once again. The former New Mexico quarterback is a local player from Saguaro High School in Scottsdale. He played for Jason Mons, who is the tight ends coach at Arizona State. And Dillingham, when he was asked about if Mons really provides a lot of insight into Dampier, he really was honest and said, all Jason Mons does is confirm the things that we see on tape. He's like, oh yeah, he's even better in big games. Oh yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over. Oh yeah, he's as explosive a runner as I've seen in my coaching career. And Dillingham was joking. He's like, oh yeah, that's great. Just tell me exactly what I don't want to hear. So that's going to be a major, major challenge for Arizona State. Last week, I believe I brought this up. Coach Dillingham also said that the way the Utah offense is schemed up now, it's virtually impossible to prepare for 100%. There are certain quirks that they use, certain route trees. The triple option is always in play. There are so many things that they do that can throw a defense off, especially with 2 tackles as good as Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu are. And also, he really hammered this point down, that they do not lend much room to create negative plays. Arizona State is very, very good at generating tackles for loss, whether it's a sack or it's just tackling the ball carrier in the backfield. They do a very, very good job of that. But Utah, the way the offense is structured, they just create a lot of second and medium, third and short scenarios. They have explosive plays in the book, especially with Dampier's improvement as a passer. And it's just going to be a very, very unique matchup for Arizona State. There is not an offense that they played so far that operates like Utah's does. Even Mississippi State, they run their offense with tempo, but Blake Shapen is not the athlete that Devin Dampier is. He might not be a passer that Devin Dampier is, despite his 3 big throws in that game. Same with TCU and Baylor. They do not have running quarterbacks. They have quarterbacks that are great in the pocket and can be great out of structure, but Devin Dampier, he's getting those Kyler Murray light comparisons for a reason. He's just dynamic. And his growth as a passer can't be understated. I got to bring that up. That's something that Arizona State fans have to be prepared for. And kind of just wanted to close out with Dillingham talking about flipping the script from 2 years ago. We all know they lost 55-3 in Salt Lake City. That was a game in which Jacob Conover had to come in, and I believe that Cam Scatterby even took snaps at quarterback as well. I could be wrong there, but I believe he did. Dillingham was just talking about how Utah is the standard right now. Utah is the program that Arizona State wants to be one day, and going into a hostile environment in a night game is going to be an incredible challenge, and he absolutely values that. He's going to cherish the time that he has this week getting ready for the game. That's really all there was. That there was a lot of other stuff, but those were the main 3 or 4 things that really caught my attention. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I will catch you tomorrow with the post-practice report for Tuesday's Arizona State practice. And I will see you then.